TDC, the Transformation and Development Centre, how did it get going? How did it start?
It started by my interest in working with people and my life experiences of the decision to create a difference in people's lives and create a different understanding of how to live and how to work with the self. And there are various processes that I work with, as well as the addiction processes which have supported it along the way, that have been very self-empowering for people.
What sort of success have you had up to now?
Up to now it's been, in terms of addictions and in terms of abuse, it's been quite a high percentage. I know generally the percentage is very, very small in terms of addictions, but I've only had 4, 5 people at the most that have gone back to doing what they were doing before. So I think I don't know what percentage that is, probably about 70%.
Now that's an incredible success rate. What would you attribute it to?
I work in slightly different ways to everybody else. First of all, it's not a residential process up to now. Hopefully in connection to RADA and JP it is going to be. And it's been processes that work on an individual basis. Well, I can't say exactly what they are, but there's some of hypnotherapy involved and general counselling, and it's in a very safe, comfortable environment, and it really seems to work. It's not done on the same 12-step basis that a general rehabilitation place would have been done. It's a self-growth process. It's taking responsibility, accountability for the self, and working from that basis, and getting to the core of the emotional issues actually that would have brought it about at a later time. Why people would do it, why people would be addicted. And so it's working from the core of the issue, as opposed to just healing the issue.
Jackie, what would you say that the major point of difference is here with the way you go about treating people who might have a problem which ranges from being raped to drug abuse?
Obviously, they would all be treated slightly differently. A rape victim is slightly different to an abused person, but in general, you would work with, as I said, the core issue. And very often, it stems from childhood. Very often, it stems from difficulties that have taken place, which you start to work with the releasing of those processes in order to write the later process.
We chatted earlier, and I would never have thought there was any connection between, say, a rape survivor and a drug addict. And yet you pointed out that there are similarities.
There are similarities. It's actually working with the development from within the self, which takes you out of I don't always like to mention that either, but a victim role, and taking back the power within the self, which is of most importance, and to understand that all of those aspects are related in some way.
Now there are 2 elements really. One is the proactive side, or you could say the educational side. What can you do there as RADA?
As well, from the vision of RADA, it is to educate people. I think that is key in terms of the development of particularly young children and teenagers. And I have worked a lot with those people myself. Not so much children, but more teenage age upward. But there are those people that are involved with RADA that will do that.
What about the reactive or the healing side? You know, what can you do and in what space of time?
In general, it takes probably a month or so, I found in my own experience, to begin it. It is an ongoing process. People that have come to me have carried on for years afterwards, only because they enjoy it. But it generally would take a couple of months for example, an addict to become clean from whatever it is their addiction is.
I just want to get an idea of the types of problems you're dealing with and the people you're dealing with. What sort of challenges do you face? I know you can't mention names and give identities, but tell us a few stories.
Well, there's so many, but they're very diverse. They're not always what one would think. That there's obviously the teenager that gets peer pressured into taking drugs and to going that route. There are those in the professional field, lawyers, accountants, people like that have gone that route in order to either build their confidence or to stay awake or whatever the case may be. And so it's been very diverse. There have been very different people from very different walks of life, people that have come brought up with addictive parents, alcoholic parents, all those sorts of things. There are very many different types.
How do you feel about the partners that have come on board so far, like Tears and Cool to Be Me?
Well, I think it's a wonderful connection. I think together we all have the same vision. We all are working in the same direction, although all differently. I think it's very positive, and I think we can all go very far together.
Some people would say, the problem is just so huge. Can you really make a difference?
Well, I really believe so. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. But I really believe that we're all very driven people together, and I think we all have the common cause. And I think RADA is the way that we can take it out there, and we can all make a huge difference.
So, is the basis of what you I wouldn't say teach, but put out to people, self-reliance, taking responsibility? Yes,
it's all about that. I started originally with classes which were called self-mastery. So they were working with the self-growth in all aspects, the process of connecting with the accountability, with all aspects of self-development, of self-awareness. In fact, the awareness is probably the most important. And it's quite incredible how so many people they continue on a day-to-day with blinkers almost. And it's been to open that awareness to everybody and to work with the growth within the self. It's been so important.
Jackie, a lot of specialists would say you can't overcome drug or alcohol addiction by yourself. Would you disagree with that?
I think in general it's the way generally people work with addictions is that you are to connect with a higher power beyond yourself that will assist you in your understanding of the release of your addiction. What I'm saying is that you are responsible for you, and you are the power within yourself, and it's all about you, and that you can most certainly work with the understanding of your deservability, of your responsibility, of your accountability from within yourself. It's not about anything outside of you. It's all about you.
What characteristics, personal characteristics, does JP have that he could take on a project of this magnitude?
Well, he might be a quietly spoken person, but there's a force there that is unstoppable. And I really love that about JP. He's an amazing person, and I think it's really going to go far. He's very determined. I'm very proud of the vision that he has, in a way, because I feel in some way it's come about from the work we've done together, and I think it's an amazing project. It's a very challenging project, but I think it's going to work.